What's up, YouTube? Eugene here. Hope you're all well. Gonna do a top 5 perfumes that I plan on wearing for the month of February. If you follow my content, you'll know that most of December and January I've worn nothing but exclusively Frederic Malle, and there's been times where I've worn nothing but Chanel for months in a row. So I do like to wear my perfumes in droves, and there's no real method to this madness. It's just something that happens. But I feel like I've caught in a little bit of Dior fever, and a lot of that has to do with going downtown a couple of times now and getting to know the sales rep over at Maison Christian Dior at that counter, talking to him and just really taking in his perspective of the new line. He seems to love them all a lot more than the old La Collection Privée, which have mostly been discontinued or hard to find now. And I think a lot of my dislike for Maison Christian Dior has to do with the shelving of the older favorites of mine. Brought out a little bit of frustration and maybe some anger, but I think a large part of that is I do miss those big, bold, beautiful creations, those ambers and leathers and exotic notes. And I feel like we've been presented with really fresh, sweet, fruity florals. And all of that has to do, I guess, with being a big masculine man or boy growing up playing with trucks, smashing things, smashing trucks, being aggressive in sports, or can't keep your eyes off of a train wreck, always looking for chaos or destruction, and not being able to appreciate the natural beauty in front of you, let's say like a flower garden, because you're too distracted with all the other chaos going around. And I'm not sure if that's part of it, but when I seen fruity florals, I was like, not sure if this is going to be my thing, but why not? Why isn't it my thing? Why can't a man appreciate florals? I've always been able to appreciate florals. In fact, I love floral perfumes. So I'm not sure why the whole Maison Christian Dior thing bothers me as much as it did. But going down there, I have been able to appreciate new things. I've gotten to know a couple of things that, have stood out to me, specifically Belle de Jour, which is a beautiful rose pear vanilla perfume. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So I think with a little bit more discovery, I'll be able to enjoy and appreciate some more things, but I will keep you guys informed. But so I've got 5 here, and I hate having to separate these, but some are, I got to think about this too, La Collection Privée, and some are the new Maison Christian Dior. I wish we could all just, keep these under one umbrella. But the first one this is Rouge Trafalgar, and I've talked about this already. And this is a huge departure from La Collection Privée, which were really big, bold, somewhat animalic, and just intellectual perfumes, let's say, which this is not. This is very sweet, sucrosy, sweet, cotton candy sweet, the cotton, the candy floss, berries, fruity black cherry, a little bit herbaceous, a nice patchouli in the base. And I had mistaken this as a warm weathered fruity perfume, but it's not. This is very easily could be worn in these cold, harsh climates, because once your body warms up, the spices on this do come alive, and it does create some warmth. It's not just a fresh perfume. So if you do like Baccarat Rouge 540, I think this might be up your alley. I still do see the resemblance to this, a lot of resemblance. And in fact, when I presented my case to the sales rep here at Dior, he denied it. He didn't want to hear anything. He's like, I know Baccarat Rouge 540. They don't smell anything alike. And we had a friendly argument until he went over to the MFK stand and he sprayed some Baccarat Rouge 540 on a blotter, and then he was like, oh my God, I see what you're talking about. So he did agree. He's like, yeah, I see a lot of similarities. And I guess it's mostly just that candy cotton um, herbal vibe. But anyway, you know, this works for me regardless of how sweet it is, but there's something about it that works. And I think it might be, you know, partially that powder. I love powder, that waxy powderiness. Powder's always worked for me, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I love powdery florals. All right, next is a favorite of mine, like one of my all-time favorites, favorite leathers, favorite perfumes. This is Leather Oud. And I'm not going to be saving these things because they're harder to find now. I'm going to be wearing this stuff recklessly. I don't think I'll ever be able to get through, you know, all of these, just considering how many perfumes I have. So this is made for the winter, made for the cold months of February. Very campy, very camphorous, smoke fire camp. Very balsamic, dirty. The leather in here kind of reminds me of just wearing a leather jacket, being out by a smoky campfire, and that jacket absorbing all that smoke, and then maybe smelling it the next day. You know, it always got that almost that staunch accord to it. Dries down a little bit, pissy and animalic, but also I think there's that honey note in here. Honey beeswax or something. Civet. There's definitely civet, but very campy, very camphorous and warm. This will keep me warm during the harsh climates. And I do prefer this to the Rose Oud Ispahan, which I've got as well. And I find a lot of similarities to this. It's got to be that pissy civet in the base, and they both share this common base. I feel like, you know, when these were created, they were created side by side, and you've got that patchouli, animalic patchouli or civet, and you know, one's gone the direction of a smoky leather, and the other's gone to a smoky rose. They both got that clove, that spicy clove to them. And for some reason, I've always drifted towards Leather Oud more than Oud Ispahan. The big smoky rose. Next, I've got, these are all my favorites here. This is Mitzah, and this is like a legendary perfume. This is all ambers, very spicy, very smoky, and very churchy to me. And I get a lot of resins from this, smoky resins, incense, and ambers. There's a rose in here. It's a dark rose. But this has also got a lot of warmth to it, like most amber orientals do. And I brought this down to Toronto with me, and I shared it with the sales rep because he's never smelt it before, and he didn't like it. He said it was way too butch, which I agree. It is very butch. It's not as romantic as, let's say, Ombre Nuit. They're both ambers. Ombre Nuit's well more rounded. Well, this is very sharp, and it's got to be the frankincense. It's not, you know, it's not a rounded frankincense. It's very sharp and pointy and butch and kind of grabs you. You know, it's very grown up and sophisticated. Very well made, regardless of I'm calling it butch. It's not to detract from Mitzah, but yeah, just a very nice, warm, frankincense-y amber perfume. Almost the way that Tom Ford's Amber Absolute goes. I think those would be a good comparison. I'll be getting use from this. I wore that, I think it was yesterday or the day before already. Wore this once already. This is Eau Noire. Kind of a shame. All of these are a shame to say goodbye to, but This is a coffee-based lavender licorice, very spicy. We've discussed this before. Curry note. I'm not sure if it's just the curry note or a spice or the dish. I think it's just the note, one note of curry, which gives it the spice. A little bit of fruitiness to this. It might be strawberry. Just like a touch of fruit. And patchouli. It's also, it can get quite powdery on me, and it's very warm as well. So this will keep me warm during the harsh climate. Oh God, it's quite sweet and syrupy as well. The syrup reminds me of something. But very feathery. There's got to be patchouli in here. Anytime there's patchouli in the perfume, there's something about it that I'm not sure how to describe it, but it makes it feathery. That's 4. I've got one more. And when you purchase from Christian Dior, I'm not sure if you can see that or not. They've got they come in these drawstring bags now, and this is Spice Blend. And it's getting absolutely devastated in the reviews. It's not doing very well in the reviews, but I can tell you I enjoy this quite a bit. And this is a more modern, a less mature, almost easier to wear version of Mitzah. So it's like they've taken away Mitzah and they've replaced it with Spice Blend, which is very, very different from a lot of the other releases in the new Maison Christian Dior. This is probably the most similar to La Collection Privée. So the rest are really, really sweet, fruity. They're not all sweet, but there's some are sweet, but they're mostly fresh, fruity florals or tea or, I don't know, pear and whatever. But this is, the least like those. And this to me is very, very spicy. It's all spice. And it's got a rum accord in here. So let's get into this. I, for one, do not like rum accords. I don't like boozy accords in my perfume. It doesn't make the perfume good or bad. I just personally don't like them. And I'm not sure why. I don't think they're tacky or trendy. But I can't see, let's say, Chanel or Hermes doing a rum accord. I just don't see it in their wheelhouse. I know Guerlain's done boozy. They'll do amaretto or something. Guerlain's coming out with a coffee note now in their next art material, which is like, it's baffling to me because, coffee and rum just doesn't go with these traditional brands. So I was kind of surprised that Dior did a rum note. Hermes did a rum note with Épice Marine, which is also another spicy. And Frederic Malle did a rum note with Monsieur. And I can tell you, I didn't enjoy any of the rum notes. I think Zoual just has a rum note in Rhinoceros. And for some reason, I don't do well with rum. Other than that, I really, really like this. It's spicy. It's peppery. It's in the base, you get that ambery, benzoin, vanillic accord. It's not as complex as I'd like for it to be, but it's still very enjoyable. It's got a churchy aspect to it, smoky and incensey. The rum kind of lasts, it goes and goes and goes. It goes a little bit longer than I like, but it does kind of fall back. Like, it doesn't take the center stage. It's not all about the rum. The rum's really, really apparent in the opening, but after a while, it just kind of it falls back and lets the spices just interplay. There's pepper, nutmeg, cinnamon. I think there's some cloves in here, but for the most part, you know, it's not as cherished for me as Mitzah. That might be partly due to discontinuation or hard to find reasons, but I enjoy this a lot. I like this a lot more than the reviews that I've read or seen about this, which haven't been glowing, which haven't been very positive. It's not very sophisticated. It is kind of what I would I would judge as bro-y, but you know, that doesn't make me like it any less. I like it. I like wearing it. I enjoy wearing it, and I like it for what it is. But yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. Spice blend. There you go. 5 that I'm going to be wearing for the month of February, and I've worn them all already. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm sure I'm going to throw in a couple others. You know, I won't be wearing just these exclusively. I'll be wearing a couple other Dior's. Maybe I'll give the 2020 another shot, even though it's really, really boring. It's not as bad as the reviews are making it out to be either, but it's just a really boring perfume for me. It doesn't really hold my attention. But let me know what you guys plan on wearing for the month. What's going to keep you warm during this cold winter? Let me know what you think of my choices. Let me know what you think of the new Maison Christian Dior. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you all soon.